Chapter 5.3 Graphing Radical Functions. Rational exponents and functions. We are going to discuss the core concept, parent functions for square root and cube root function. So we can see that the graph is given to us and we are going to find out what is the parent function or the family of function for this type of a graph. So the parent function for the family of square root function is square root x. So this is the parent function. So let me use the same color we made a graph of. So this is the parent function. So whenever we make a graph, originally we always use values that are our table values. So let's see, we have here is a table value x, and then we are going to assume the values for x and find out the y value or the function value square root x. So we have a y equals square root x, or the function is square root x. It means the x value that we are going to choose are only going to be positive, because inside the square root we cannot have negative. So we can assume any values like 0, 1, and so on. And the next value after 1 I'm going to choose is 4. The reason I'm going to choose 4 is because I have a square root of 4, that's 2. I don't want to deal with decimals, so that's why I'm going to choose 4. And after that I'm going to choose 9. So now I'm going to find out the function value. So square root of 0 is 0. Square root of 1 is 1. Square root of 4 is 2, and square root of 9 is 3. So the points are going to be 0, 0. So this is the point 0, 0. And then the next point is going to be 1, 1. So that's this point, 1, 1. Next point is going to be 4, 2. So that is 4, 2 here. And the next is going to be 9, 3. So you choose the x values carefully so that you don't have to deal with decimals, because it's a square root. Any perfect square I choose is going to give me a perfect answer. You can also confirm and graph this y equals square root x into a decimals calculator, and then we can see that the graph we're going to get is like this one, starting from 0, 0, and the next point is 1, 1, 4, 2, 9, 3. Domain are the x values, and you can see that the x value is starting from 0. So this is the x value and is going this direction forever. It means x starting from 0, close interval, and it's going to go to this direction forever. So it means this is going to positive infinity forever. If you write this one into an interval form, then you can write this x is greater than equal to 0. Means that x starting from 0 and is going to be greater than 0 forever. So for range means is y values, and y values again starting from 0, 0. So this is the y value and is going to go up and up and up, and it means that the y value is same as x value starting from 0 and going to go to positive infinity. And if you write into an interval form, so that's going to be y greater than equal to 0. Now square root function have index, the number that is in the cap is positive 2, so that's going to be called an even function, so even indexes. Next is the parent function for the family of cube roots is cube root of x. We can make sure that these are the right points of the cube root function. We can make a table of values where you're going to assume the x values and find out the cube root of x. So for cube root, we can find out the negative as well as positive values. So we can take -1, 0, 1, and the next value I would take is 8 because cube root of 8 is possible. Cube root of -1 is going to be -1. Cube root of 0 is 0. Cube root of 1 is 1. And cube root of 2 is going to be 2. So the points are going to be, this is -1 comma -1, and this is going to be 0 comma 0, 1 comma 1, and that's going to be 8 comma 2, and this is obviously going to be 8 comma -2. This cube root function is a symmetrical figure, so from the above of the x-axis is the same way, and on the bottom is also same way. This arrow shows that this is going to go to this direction, left and down forever. So if I have to figure out the points for this arrow, it means it's going to go down -infinity and -infinity, because in this quadrant y is also going to go -infinity, x is also -infinity, whereas in this corner they both are going to be positive infinity. So positive infinity, it means for the domain it's going to go from -infinity to positive infinity. For domain is -infinity to positive infinity, and for range is also -infinity to positive infinity. It means domain and range both are -infinity to positive infinity, and the cube root function is going to have an odd index like 3, 5, 7, and so on. Next, we are going to discuss example number 1a, where we are going to identify the graphs of these radical functions and answer these questions. First thing we're going to figure out is to see if it's an even function or an odd function. So this is a square root function. So this is going to be a square root function. So that's going to be even. Now, if you notice that this function is moved 1, 2, 3, 4 unit to the left, so it's going to move left 4 units, and this is direction upward and this is direction downward. It means it's a reflection. This is an reflection of this function. So this going to have next is a reflection over x-axis. It means that the equation should have a negative in the front. So negative square root x plus 4. This plus 4 means it's moved 4 unit to the left, and this negative means that this is upward and now this is downward. So I should write it in a blue because it's a blue color function, x plus 4, and that's the negative. Now we're going to write down the domain and a range of the new function, that's a color blue function, and it's starting from x to from -4. It's starting from x -4, and it's going to go to the positive infinity. If you want to write the arrow here in this quadrant, x is positive and y is negative. So x is greater than equal to -4. For range, is starting from 0. So it's starting from 0 and it's going to -infinity. So y is less than equal to 0. Next, letter B, this is going to be a square root function, so even function. Describe the transformation. If I notice this function is moved 1, 2, 3, 4 unit down and 2 unit left, so that's going to be 2 unit left and 4 units down, but the direction is still the same. So the blue function that we have, a new function, is going to be x plus 2 inside the square root, and outside you're going to have negative 4. So x plus minus 4. X plus 2 inside the square root, negative 4. For the domain, it starts from the x value negative 2 and is going to go forever to the right direction. And in the right side, x is going to approach to infinity. Or you can write it as x greater than equal to negative 2. For the y value, start from negative 4 and it's going to go up and right. So whenever it's go up and right, up means that it's going to approach to positive infinity. And y is greater than or equal to negative 4. Now let's discuss the next one, that is c. We can see one thing in letter c, that it's a square root function, so it's even function. For the transformation, you can see it's very interesting. This function and this function going on the same direction, and starting point is also same. If you notice, the point here is going to be 0, 0 for both of them. This one is 1, 1, and this one is 1, 3. This point is going to be 4, 2, and this one is going to be 4, 6. This point is going to be 9, 3, and this is 9, 9. Now, what do you notice here? That the y value that was 1 and now is 3. Y value was 2 and now is 6. Y value is 3 and now is 9. It means the y value is multiplied by 3. So whenever you have a y value that is multiplied by a outside, and that's a is greater than 1, then that's going to be a vertical stretch. And the equation in means that you're multiplying 3. So all the y values are multiplied by 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 1 times 3 is 3. So the new function, that the blue function, is 3 times square root x. You can also graph this on Desmos calculator to confirm if you got the same exact answer that we just said, and find out the domain. Domains are the same domains for this one, so that's going to be starting from 0, 0 and going to positive infinity, positive infinity. So 0, infinity, 0, infinity, both are greater than equal to 0.